Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Distance Learning Program. It's great to be here today, and thank you so much for watching the videos. I hope they've been helpful as you learn more English. Today, we're going to focus on the completion of Unit 7F, and that's on page 95 in the Ventures3 book. So if you could turn to page 95 of the Ventures3 book, we're going to continue with lesson 7F. This is a lesson on grammar, and the focus of this lesson will be using get with adjectives and using get and take with adjectives and nouns. So we're going to focus on common usage of the verbs get and take with adjectives and nouns. So it says here, grammar connections, and it says use get with adjectives and some nouns, use take with other nouns. And in the left column, it has some common usages of the verb get. And in the right column, it has common usages of the verb take. So let's take a look at the words that you use with get. Notice that these words that you use with get are adjectives. For example, get dressed, get engaged, married, or divorced, get lost, get confused, get sick or better, get upset, nervous, or tired. Now here we have get being used with some nouns. It says get a job, get fired, get laid off. Next, we're going to take a look at using the verb take with some nouns. If you'll look in the right column, it says take a bus, a train, a taxi, a plane. So different modes of transportation. Take notes, take a test, take a class, take a break, take a nap, take a bath, take a shower, take a vacation or a trip, and finally, take pictures or photos. Now it's probably the easiest to just memorize what kinds of words that you use with get or take, but the main thing to remember is that you usually use get with adjectives and take with nouns. So look at part A, and let's look at these two conversations here between A and B. So it says, do you get sick very often? So that's a question. And the answer is, no, I don't. I hardly ever get sick. And the second conversation says, have you taken a vacation recently? And the answer is, yes, I have. I took a vacation to Florida last year. And down below in the green box, we have many words that you could use with get or take. And the idea is to ask a question using get or take with the correct word and then answer it. So just ask a question using get or take and then answer it. So for example, you could choose bus. What word would you use with a bus? Well, you would use take. So a question could be, do you take a bus to work? And the answer would be, no, I don't. I drive my car. Another question would be using the word sick. Now with sick, you would use the verb get. So the question would be, do you get sick frequently? And the answer would be, no, I don't get sick frequently. I'm pretty healthy. So you could make your own questions and answers using these verbs get and take with the words in the green box, and then make sure that you're using the correct verb. You use get with adjectives and a few nouns, but usually you use take with nouns. So that will complete the grammar connection lesson on page 95. And the next thing I'd like to do is to read an article from News for You. News for You is from New Readers Press. And if you go to the internet and type in News for You into Google, you can find it very, very easily. And then I'm going to read the article that says, help arrives as coronavirus sweeps through Navajo Nation. And I will email this to you so that you'll have a copy of it. And you can open your email and follow along with me. The new coronavirus came to the Navajo Nation in early March. Doctors say it was carried in by a man who had gone to a big sports event in Tucson, Arizona. He made the long drive back to a small town on the tribe's land. And if you click on the word tribe, it says it's a noun, and it means a group of people that includes many families and relatives who have the same language and beliefs. He then joined many others at a church gathering there. From that church, the virus raced through families and towns on the reservation. And a reservation is an area of land in the United States kept separate as a place for Native Americans to live. The region now has some of the highest infection rates in the U.S. And rates is a noun that means the number of times a certain thing happens in particular time periods. By mid-May, 17,000 people had been tested. More than 3,000 of them had COVID-19. That's the coronavirus. And the 19 stands for the year 2019 when it was first discovered. That is the disease caused by the virus. More than 100 had died. Now, in America, to this date, more than 100,000 people have died from COVID-19. Among the dead are 10 members from one family and 4 from another. There was a high school basketball coach. He had 5 children. He was only 42 when he died. One man died on Easter morning. He was 34. And there was a 28-year-old mother. She had won Navajo beauty and talent contests. She wanted to become a leader in the tribe. Problems in the virus fight. The Navajo reservation includes parts of northern Arizona and New Mexico. It also includes a southern corner of Utah. It is 3 times the size of the state of Massachusetts. Its small towns are far away from each other. Many of its people are poor. There are few hospitals. Health experts know what can limit the spread of the virus. It includes regular hand washing. It also includes keeping a safe distance from other people. But 1/3 of the homes on the reservation do not have running water. Families bring in water from nearby towns. They use it for drinking. They also give it to their animals. They do not want to waste it. Most people on the reservation live in crowded homes. Keeping themselves apart is not easy, and it is not part of Navajo culture to isolate a sick person. Isolate means to keep someone separated from the others. Many also do not have internet service. That limits what they know about the virus. Help from inside and outside. Along with members of their tribe, the Navajo have had to let go of some traditions. And traditions are ways of doing things that have been followed for a long time. Normally, there are 4 days of mourning, and mourning is an act of showing sadness or honoring a person who has died. So normally, there are 4 days of mourning before burying the dead. Stories are told. Older people talk to the young about death. But now there is a rush to bury the dead. They want to limit the spread of the virus. Help has finally come to the Navajo Nation. Doctors and nurses from across the country have come to care for the sick without pay. Some of the money Congress set aside for Native American communities has arrived. It came more than a month after the aid bill was signed into law. Navajo leaders are driving food and supplies to tiny towns and one-room homes. They tell people how to keep themselves healthy. Jonathan Nez is the president of the Navajo Nation. He hopes to use some of the federal aid to build good water and electricity sources. That will help in the future. For now, people will care for each other. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves, Nez said. We're going to help each other out. All right. Now, I have some questions for you to check your comprehension. The first question is, how did the spread of the new coronavirus start in the Navajo Nation? How did the spread of the new coronavirus start in the Navajo Nation? And the answer is, it was carried in by a man who went to a big sports event in Tucson, Arizona. Next question. How many people in the Navajo Nation had been tested by mid-May? How many of them had COVID-19 and how many had died? So here it is again. How many people in the Navajo Nation had been tested by mid-May? How many of them had COVID-19 and how many had died? So the answer to the first question is, by mid-May, 17,000 people had been tested. And the second question, how many of them had COVID-19? The answer is more than 3,000 of them had COVID-19. And finally, the third question, how many had died? More than 100 had died. Number 3. How many homes on the reservation don't have running water? How many homes on the reservation don't have running water? The question is, the answer is 1/3 of homes don't have running water. 1/3 of homes don't have running water. That's a fraction. It's not the actual number of homes. Then finally it says, how do they get water? People bring it in from nearby states or nearby towns. I'm sorry. People bring it in from nearby towns. Next, What are the Navajo traditions when someone has died? What are the Navajo traditions when someone has died? Normally, there are 4 days of mourning before burying the dead. Stories are told. Older people talk to the young about death. Now, here are a few discussion questions that you could think about and see how you might answer these questions. Do you live near the Navajo Nation, or have you ever traveled near there? The next question is, do you live near any Native American reservations? If you do you know if there have been problems with COVID-19 spreading there? And the third question is, what is something else you would like to know about the Navajo Nation? What is something else you would like to know about the Navajo Nation? So that will conclude this lesson, and I hope that you enjoyed that article from News4U. I will email it to you so that you can have it when you get the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.